everyone. So, today I'm going to talk about the divine pause, what it is, why it's so frustrating, and what you can do about it when it happens. So, the divine pause is a time in your life when you're forced to take a step back and take a break. And the reason why it's called the divine pause is because it seems like it just happens out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden, you're going about your business, you're doing your daily life, your daily routine, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, some circumstance causes you to have to stop, pause, cancel plans, to reflect. And it's not a time for pushing forward, for moving forward. And that can be so frustrating. So, divine pause can be an illness that causes you to have to take a break and to look after your health instead of moving forward with your daily routine. The divine pause can even be caused by societal factors. I mean, look at what happened in 2020. A lot of us were on lockdown and we couldn't go anywhere, couldn't leave our house. A lot of us lost jobs. Like that was a huge divine pause that just it came out of nowhere and it was just really disruptive. So, however the divine pause happens, it can be really frustrating and it can really just feel like you're not moving forward. It could feel like you're not progressing. And for us in our society that's really built on productivity, that can be really frustrating. I don't know how many times I'm going to say frustrating, but that's just letting you know how frustrating a divine pause can be. So, the divine pause comes to let us know and just remind us that there are certain seasons in our lives, even when, farmers, gardeners, for our gardeners out there, our plant moms, our plant dads out there, there's a time to plant seeds and there's a time to harvest. And one of the issues in our society is that we want to harvest all the time. We think it's harvest time all the time. And it's like, no, you can't harvest all the time. There's times to plant seeds and there's times to tend to your seeds. So during a divine pause, when everything kind of stops and you're forced to refocus your energy, that's a time to tend to your seeds. It's a time to tend to yourself. It's a time to reevaluate things. And you have two choices. Either you can spend that time being really frustrated, being really down in the dumps, being really depressed about it, or you can figure out, okay, I seem to be being blocked. I seem to be being halted right now. Like, what is the lesson in this? What do I need to learn in this? Is there something I need to replan or reevaluate? Is there something in my life that I don't like? Is there something I want to change? Like this is like a divine pause is the perfect time to do it. It helps us reevaluate what we even consider progress. I know for a lot of us, we feel like progress is linear, like progress is step one, step two, step three, step four. But I'm sure, as many of you know, life does not work like that. Progress can be a zigzag, progress can be circular, progress can look like a triangle. It's really all progress. Sometimes, what a divine pause will have you do is take 3 steps back so that you can get realigned, get on the right track, so you can take 6 steps forward. So, what that might look like is that illness that you thought was coming to destroy you, it was just coming to tell you, hey, I feel like you need to do something different with your health routine, with your self-care. You're not getting enough sleep. You're not eating well enough. We need you to get more water in or more rest. We need you to look after yourself. And once you make those necessary changes, like you benefit in the end. But it doesn't seem like that at first when you're forced to halt and pause. And you can even feel resentful. You could be like, oh my goodness, I had to take like 2 weeks off of work, or I had to take 2 weeks off of this thing, and I was just in bed, and I wasn't doing anything. And it's like, of course you were doing something. You were resting, you were getting realigned, and that is still progress. It can also look like that job that you lost. Now you have free time. It's like you weren't valued at that job anyway. You weren't paid enough at that job anyway. You didn't even like going to that job anyway. So why do you even care? No, I'm just kidding. We have bills that need to be paid. Everyone has bills that need to be paid. So of course you care. But pretty much it's just saying that now you have free time to find something that you enjoy doing. Look for another job. Maybe you want to switch fields. Maybe you want better pay. You want to do something different. And, you know, you weren't going to leave that job on your own accord. So something came in, swept in, the divine pause, and it caused a disruption in the flow, in the energy. So now you get to do something different. The divine pause is really, it's a blessing in disguise. It is what they call a blessing or a present wrapped in sandpaper, because it can be really gritty and it can be a really hard lesson. But if you use the divine pause in a way that levels your life up, once the energy starts moving again, you're gonna be like 10 steps ahead. So I have personal experience with the divine pause. I have had many in my lifetime, but the most recent one, definitely for me, was the lockdowns of 2020. I was on my way to being promoted at my job. My directors, my supervisors, they were all just blown away with the amazing work, my work ethic, my work, everything. And they wanted to transition me from temporary to permanent. And I was really happy because I had been working on becoming permanent for a long time. And all of a sudden, the lockdowns happened, and my last day of work was, I think, March 13th of 2020. And it's like things shut down, and we weren't sure when anything was going to open up again. And at first, I was extremely frustrated. I was like, oh my goodness, like I worked really hard. Like I felt like, oh my gosh, I did everything right. Like I worked really hard. I showed up early. I left late. Like, why is this happening? Like I have no, like it just felt like I had no control over it. But what I did was I used that time to um, to really just get centered and get grounded and figure out what Vanessa wanted. Did I really want that job, or was it just, society was saying like, oh, this looks good, like you should pursue this. And what I found was that I had other interests. And I also used the time to build up some computer skills, because in my field, I was in education. We didn't really use a lot of tech. We didn't really use a lot of technology. So as far as like the job market, I was really behind. Like there were things, like there was software and things that I didn't know. So I used that time to, you know, get myself together, to learn new skills. And during that time, I started this YouTube channel. And if it wasn't for my divine pause, I would not be speaking with all of you. I would not have started my channel. So a lot of really good things came out of it. And one of the best things that came out of it was during the divine pause, I had to look at my living situation. My fiance and I, and our three cats, we lived in a studio. And for us at the time, studio apartment was perfect because we were never home anyway. We had a very active lifestyle, so we were always going to festivals, just museums, gardens, just everything. And we were like, okay, we're never home. So, let's save on some rent and get a studio. So it was just us, and our studio was 425 square feet. When the lockdowns happened, uh, I realized that maybe getting a studio was not such a great idea. Um, it became really small. So um, we had to reevaluate our living situation. Is this our lifestyle? Do we really want to live like this? And also, we had to think about the area that we were living in when all the parks and everything got shut down. We were like, wow, there's really nothing to do in our area. There's nothing to do. So we planned and made the ultimate decision to not only, after our divine pause was over, we decided to move apartments and ultimately move out of state. So that's what fit best for us. We realized that we have been taking outdoor activity for granted. We have been taking nature for granted. And most of all, we have been taking like home life for granted. You know, sometimes it's okay to be home. That's another thing I realized. So we were able to make those changes, and we're a lot happier. We are a lot happier now. But none of that would have ever happened without the divine pause. So I'm really grateful for my divine pause. It was a blessing. I use it as a lesson. It was tough. Like believe me, like I was really frustrated, but it really did. It took steps back, but it helped me go forward. And now I'm doing what I love. So hopefully, you take this time. If you are going through a pause right now, whatever it is, just know that it is not the end of the world. Just know that, like, this is your level up time. This is your planning time. This is your rest time. Use this time to really do some deep diving so that when the energy moves forward again, you know exactly which direction you want to go in. So, thank you so much. I hope that this was helpful. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Are you going through a divine pause right now? And if so, what is it? How are you doing? Let me know.